right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Strictly Football. Hope you're doing well wherever you're watching and whatever time it is where you're at. And hopefully, you had a good week. But we are here again for another episode. Dramatic week in football. Uh, so yeah, let's get it started. How are you guys doing,
You
Ariel?
didn't even give me the first 30 seconds of the song, man. I'm
What?
feeling the
What?
pride.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be maybe on the outskirts of this. What is that? That Real Madrid song?
Yeah,
The, the anthem.
Why does it
that's
sound like
that.
it's a fucking funeral?
Hey, man, it did not. It sounded like a funeral yesterday before for
Or the big dog came in?
for Bayern Munich.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about before the Undertaker came in.
Oh, well, no, that was sorry. That was the anthem that they created in Carlo Ancelotti's first run as a Real Madrid coach when they won La Decima back
Okay.
in 2013, I believe, or
Uh huh.
so. And look at him now. He's about to compete in his sixth Champions League finals.
That's
But we'll
crazy.
get into that. As my brother said, welcome to another episode. Um, how's everybody doing? Ariel, you looking fly, man.
Thanks, man. I like to think that I look fly all the time, but I know that that's not always the case, especially when I'm at work and I'm just wearing all black. But yeah, man, it's hot over here in the Bay, so I had to bust out the Hawaiian shirt. Had to bust it out, act like I'm on vacation while it's fucking hell's on earth over here.
All of a sudden, too, huh? Just rainy
All,
on
all
Saturday, and then
uh-huh.
it just switch up is crazy.
It's changing, man.
Yeah,
The weather here is getting nuts. But I'm
yeah.
good, man. I'm tired today. It's a long day, but I'm here for it. I've been looking forward to this episode. A lot's happened this week.
A lot. I
Nice.
agree.
How about you, Irving? How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Just finished my second to last semester of school, and like Ariel said, crazy weekend football. And as for a Madrid fan like me, I mean, what a time to be alive, right? And so yeah, just excited as well to talk about what we're gonna talk about today. So
Yeah, how are
Perfect,
you?
man. I feel good, and I feel like off, work my work life. This is actually the first week I think since pre-pandemic that I actually go to the office 4 days a week.
Wow, look at
Shit's
you.
shit's been brutal, man. I've been coming home.
hey, work from home tomorrow, though,
That's right.
right?
But no, like it feels like I was just making sense into it. And it's like we used to go 5 days into the office, or I used to go in 5 days into the city uh, before the pandemic. But now I feel like just even thinking of going 4 days just seems so tiring and draining. And the commute is like I have it so easy, but work's been kicking my ass. So I'm just happy that I got to Thursday, and the boys know what work from home means.
Man, Champions League. Champions.
Uh but we're good, man. We're good. Let's move on with this episode. Let's get this started. As per usual, our tarjeta roja of the week, uh, or the past 2 weeks, if you want to include the week before. I feel
Mhm.
like there are a few. I'll let you guys start. Give me your take. Give me what who deserves it, or there's more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my
You want to?
initial thoughts is
Okay.
you got one?
No. You
Yeah,
you go
go
ahead.
ahead.
If you got
You
one, no,
sound
you
you
got one. You
ready,
got
you
one.
sound like you're ready to
No,
go,
you
man.
started. You started. You started.
For me, I have to give it a two. I think I have one for Casemiro. That my boy's looking slow. He's looking rusty. I mean, but that whole Manchester United team is looking rusty. But I kind of gotta give it to him because he got played with Olise, and then I think Olise's first goal, también, or his second goal, I don't know, one of the two goals where he loses the ball in the corner. Um, I don't know, man. He just doesn't look like the Real Madrid center defensive mid that they had, and I know people are saying he needs to start learning to speak Arabic to go to Saudi Arabia, and maybe that's the move for him. But I think the second one for me is the refereeing yesterday in the Real Madrid game. I'm a Real
Ooh.
Madrid fan, but that I don't know about that Bayern Munich goal disallowed. I don't know about that one. That was a iffy one. So if anything, that's the only asterisk that I have. So that refereeing was a little suspect.
Alright, alright.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I agree,
Uh,
but I also have an asterisk to your asterisk. So
Okay.
yeah.
ugh, gross.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's a lot of asterisks.
yeah. Yeah, I also have two, but one is not like a tarjeta roja. It's more like a moment of like a moment of silence for Harry Kane and his what would you call it? His
Trophyless
his
run.
his trophyless run. I mean, just what a story. Like you leave your boyhood club to join probably the most dominant team in Germany, a team that competes in the Champions League each and every year, a team that wins the Bundesliga every year, and you just happen to join them, and it's the first season they're trophyless since 2012. That's crazy. That's
And he's having a
crazy.
great season too.
And he's having a great he has a goal for every game. I think it's like 40, 43, 42. I don't know, something crazy like that. So he's having one of the best seasons of his career and he's still going to be trophyless. So his run continues, but we'll see. We'll see if it breaks. Maybe it does, but not this year. And my actual tarjeta roja goes to and another one to Manchester United, but mostly Ten Hag, maybe Manchester United coaching staff. I don't know, but Jadon Sancho, man, what a player, what a player, showing out for Borussia Dortmund. He's in the Champions League final now, and Manchester United let go of like a star, essentially a star. Because if you look at him play with Dortmund, he just looks confident. He looks like great on the ball. Like everything about him is just different than when he was at Manchester United. And many people thought many people say it was like personal reasons. And just he didn't get. People were saying it didn't get along with Ten Hag. I don't know, but the fact that Manchester United just let him go on loan, if I'm not mistaken, when Manchester United are just facing their own struggles, and Manchester United isn't playing for anything essentially this season, and this man's about to play arguably the biggest game of his career. So yeah, what a miss by Manchester United.
And he's gonna go back though, right?
Yeah, I think so.
that's a good reception back.
I mean, I
It's
mean,
an
but then
awkward
again, like
conversation.
if you're Jadon Sancho, would you really want to go back to a team that didn't want you to begin with?
No,
That's true.
Exactly.
it just again, dog. Ten Hag is just like he's just fumbling, man. He's fumbling through the big names, dude. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Right. So I mean, that goes up for the rest of the Man U players. If you guys want to succeed, just don't apologize to Ten Hag. He'll let you.
Yeah,
He'll give you the out, and you can find better. The grass is greener on a different team. For me, the first one I'll give it to Luis Enrique. Uh, for coming out in the press conference and saying that how proud he was of his team and that he felt like luck wasn't on their side and just kind of alluding to not get fired when in reality it's just another failure for PSG as a team. Uh, no credit to take away from Borussia, but if you're PSG, you need to like these are the games that will take you over the hump to be considered a top team. So I think Luis Enrique is to blame, and he just didn't have he couldn't figure out a Borussia Dortmund team that was just better than them in 180 minutes. And my second one is a little silly one that I saw yesterday, and it goes to one of our homegrown players. You guys might know him, Kate Cowell. Uh,
That was funny.
uh oh.
That was hella funny.
so yesterday, the Luca played against Chivas in the quarterfinals of La Liguilla, and they interviewed him after the game. Chivas won 1-0, by the way. And they interviewed him after the game, and it was just straightforward like post game interview. And his last comment was just like, "I'm just happy that we took away the 3 points."
Man says another. There's still another game to be played.
That man's in MLS settings.
Yeah, yeah.
Season's not
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
Man.
Season's just started for him, but
He's
that
never made it to this point with the earthquakes. That's the problem.
That's true. That's true.
man, just the inexperience of a guy jumping crossing to the other side, but good for him.
Of a
He's
team in playoffs.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's different terrain, man.
I'm sure they gave him his shtick for it after in the locker room, but silly one. But you know what? Let's move forward. Those were the Taretaro highs. Let's move forward to our segments, our headlines. Actually, it's like we're living off Champions Leagues, but I love it because every time we come and we talk about Champions Leagues, we have to talk about something that just created controversy or added to it. So
Yeah.
once again, we're here, Champions League semifinal.
Let's start with the less dramatic game first. Let's go through that one first.
Okay, so takeaway from the Borussia Dortmund versus PSG. Both legs, honestly. What are you guys' takeaways from each game? Do you guys get to see the game, saw the highlights? What do you guys think?
I saw parts of the game. I don't know if it's less dramatic. I don't know if I would go that far. I think that is one of the things that I feel like this Champions League this season. I feel like people were giving it knock for it being like kind of a boring group stage, kind of a boring like up until like the actual like the latter parts of the tournament. I feel like they've lived up, and I think PSG is really a casualty in this because to me, I thought they looked really dangerous. It just so happens that Borussia Dortmund had the post
Hmm.
on their side, and I think they created a lot of chances. I think Mbappe didn't show up, which is unfortunate. But I also think that Mbappe just looks kind of withdrawn from the PSG team in general. So, um, but also props to Borussia Dortmund though. Nobody gave them any chance of getting out, and they were able to defend and make the chances happen when they showed up.
Yeah, I agree. I think PSG just or mostly Mbappe to be honest. Yeah, he just looked out of it. I also do think that the team isn't the greatest or the best we've seen from PSG in the past couple years. That's not saying that they're bad at all because they're not. They have great players. Dembele, that Zaire Emery guy from the youth academies. I think he's a really good player. But yeah, the team wasn't just connecting together, and I don't know if that's just a Luis Enrique problem. I don't know if that's a PSG problem because they have money. They can build essentially whatever team they want. It's just sad that they had the chances, especially in that second game, and the ball just wouldn't go in. And on a cross or on a corner kick, Mats almost puts in 1-0, and they park the bus, and that's game. So, and I definitely think that to me, this is the last straw for Mbappe. Uh, I know early in the season it's been confirmed, or supposedly it's been confirmed that he was going to leave at the end of the season. But to me, like, let's just say that wasn't true at the time. I think now it's like, okay, like Mans has been in the team for what, like 3-4 years, and just a whole lot of nothing has happened other than win the league, which is what they do every year. And also just a quick stat out there, ever since 13-14, I think it is the season, PSG has spent $1.3 billion, and they have only had a Champions League final to show for it. So it's definitely a sad a sad, or not sad, but like just a reality of football that money isn't always everything, right?
So I got two questions for you guys, and I feel like the first one it's going to be simple, so you guys can. It's a straightforward answer. Um, did we just see Mbappe's last game in a PSG shirt in a Champions League game?
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah,
Okay.
we did. I mean, he even after the game, he looked
Yeah,
disinterested.
yeah.
He looked like he was like, well, it's time to go to the white team to get this
The
W, to
winning
get this
team. Time to
Champions
go to the
League.
winning team.
Yeah, I mean,
And
he looks out of it.
Yeah.
and the second one, and I think you brought up the stat that I was going to bring up about ever since PSG started building their super team. if you guys could go back, like where would you guys rank this PSG failure compared to the ones that they've had in the past?
Hmm.
Like, is this more so on like the biggest one, or is this one like kind of like or
I think to me it's the season where Real Madrid beat them. They came back. They had Messi on the team. I think just because of the hype around having that team with Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar, and sadly the team just didn't work out. And Real Madrid, won the Champions League that year. What was it, like 2 years ago? To me, that's the biggest failure, or maybe also La Remontada is up there too with Barcelona because they were up pretty big numbers. And but yeah, I think just because you had Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, and you didn't win essentially anything, I think that definitely is not good, not a good look.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about. I don't. Yeah, I don't think that it's up there. I mean, personally, I don't think that. I don't think anyone really expected anything out of this PSG team. Um, but at least to me, you know what I'm saying? Like to me, I only saw really Mbappe. Oh, and Adrian's in the actually lobby, so we're about to bring him on. But yeah, so I didn't particularly think that they were gonna do anything. So if anything, like I was kind of just disappointed that Mbappe just didn't show up the way that he did because I feel like to me he's the best player in the world, and for him to like not have that, then it's just it he just for him to not have that like showing, I think kind of hurt him. But yeah, man. So but before we continue, we got a guest. What's up, brother? First time meeting
Hey
you,
guys.
Adrian. I didn't think you were gonna come, man.
Oh, I was having some Wi-Fi issues, and I was like, man, I can't bet on these guys another time because last time I tried to come on, my girlfriend had car problems, and you can't leave the girlfriend with car problems. So, glad to be here,
Yeah, man. Well, we're happy to have you, Adrian. Right? That's your name,
Adrian. Yeah,
Adrian.
can you
Nice to
guys
meet you,
introduce
Adrian.
yourselves? Because I know you guys are Sam, Ariel, Jose, and I know Irving, but I
Yeah.
don't
Irvin,
know
yeah.
fake names.
All
Yeah,
right.
so Irving is the one to your left, right here at the bottom, the one right there. That's Irving. Jose is the older brother, the one with the Bernabeu in the back, and Amariel, the one with the Hawaiian shirt.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you,
yeah.
man. Well, you can just jump in. We're talking about Champions League. We're
All
talking
right.
about the first PSG Borussia Dortmund, and the question. What was the question again,
And
Jose?
introduce yourself to
Oh
the
yeah,
to the crowd. Shout out your
Yeah,
socials, whatever you gotta do.
for sure, yeah. So I'm trying to start up a channel called Data Driven Soccer. So originally it started because I was really into data analytics, like football mob, really into understanding like the data behind like XG stats, but kind of transitioned more to like reactionary, just like talking about soccer in general. I think it's really cool and just looking to find community in which to talk about soccer because like there's not a lot of people in my community that really like talking about soccer. Everyone's obsessed about like football, like American football and baseball. So it's nice to find the community that likes talking about like Champions League, Premier League, Liga Mexicana, that type of stuff.
That's
dope.
great,
That's what's
man.
up, man. That's dope.
That's what's
Well, you
up,
know
man.
what?
Well, welcome, man. We're excited to have you on here.
You
You're
guys were talking
welcome.
about the PSG game.
Yeah, what was the question, Jose? Well, where does
Yeah.
this rank right on the failures? Of,
Yes. So, but where would yeah? So exactly. So just to put it short, like where would you rank this latest PSG failure in like their now run of constant failures since they started building a super team back in 2013?
I think this is compared to other seasons, I consider this more of a success just because they were able to pass that hurdle of the quarterfinals. I think that's a huge accomplishment on their part. They're just one step away from going to that final. I just think it was just a personal failure in regards to Mbappe because this was his Champions League to show up. This would have been the ultimate accumulation, end of story with PSG, then transferring to Real Madrid. I think he really lacked a lot during this Champions League. I think a lot of the goals that he scored in previous games were kind of fluke, kind of like, for example, like the goal he scored against Barcelona. I thought that goal was just because Barcelona were down a player. If not, I don't think Mbappe would have appeared because Araujo was having him unlocked the entire game for those 20 minutes that he was on the field.
So I mean, it now that I mean, you brought up another interesting point, another thing that I wanted to bring up. So it's like apart from that Araujo expulsion in the quarterfinals, like what changed for this PSG team in that quarterfinal match it as opposed to against the match against Borussia Dortmund. Because if you ask me, I want to believe that Barcelona is a better team than Borussia Dortmund, but they couldn't beat that team to get to the next step. So it's like, was it like Luis Enriquez like just not figuring out a German team and figuring out Barcelona, or was it just substantial that it just happened that they couldn't put the ball in?
Pause. Uh, yeah, I mean, I think you're hitting on two different types of opponents, right? And I think Luis Enrique has a little bit more background on the Barca. I totally agree with you. They got a better team. I think like what you did see in that quarterfinal tie though was individual players of PSG. I think were able to shine, and they don't have a better team, but I think Barca that's what they lack. Like they don't have an experienced individual player to lead them over that line. So, but then they did, and I think with Borussia Dortmund, you have a even I think a even more compact team than Barca, right? So they know what they have an identity, they know what it is, and they're sticking to that identity. So I think it's two different ties, and I repeat, like I think PSG to kind of to Adrian's point, I thought it was a success too. I thought they had hella chances. They just happened to hit the post like hella chances. So
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think that they didn't do and I mean they obviously didn't do enough, but I think they did enough to show that Luis Enrique, at least to me, is leading them in a way. And if anything, it shows that he's gonna be okay without Mbappe there. Because Mbappe didn't show up throughout these ties.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Vitinha, that
no.
was great.
Oh, Vitinha has been the star for PSG. I think
Yeah.
he's been revolutionized in this new Luis Enriquez Luis Enriquez schema. But
Yeah,
one
he's
thing I
really
also wanted
shining.
to, yeah, one thing I wanted to bring up too was in the Barca game, we noticed how Dembele was really playing really well. But in this game against Dortmund, we had Madison, the left wing. He just had him on lock. He did not do anything during the game. I think that was a huge reason why PSG were lacking offensively.
Hmm.
Love it. You rubbed it, man. Cancelo's not a good defender. Thank you for
I
saying
agree.
that. You didn't say it, but you said it. So I thank you for that. But anyways, you know what? I do feel like PSG will still compete next season. It's gonna look different, and I'm sure Mbappe is gonna leave. So we'll see where they go. And I mean, kudos to Borussia Dortmund, man. Team that nobody I feel like they did the hardest thing, and that was beat a team that doesn't play like Atletico, and they rightfully earned their spot to play in the finals. But moving on over to the second semifinal that we saw, um, Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich, Santiago Bernabeu. You
Man.
know, I was gonna say it last time on the last leg, but I'll say it this leg. Well, actually, I think I might have said it, but the best games, the most dramatic, the most intense games you'll ever see in a Champions League game happen at the Bernabeu. Don't like you go back in the history of time, but the best games, the Champions League was made for Real Madrid, and they are the reason this competition stays alive because you either want to see them lose or you want to see them win and pull the shit that they be pulling for like the past 4 or 5 years. So I'm speaking from the heart and with a Real Madrid crest. I know I am, but you know what? Real Madrid in Champions League, it's a love story. And to the young version of myself, to the young kid that grew up, I just want to say that I made the right decision by choosing Madrid. That's all. Like
Yeah.
I'm shedding tears internally, but I'm glad that when it came down to choosing a team, I said I'm a Madrid fan, and then here we are now, and I get to wear that with pride. That's enough for me. That's enough for me. I don't, I won't get too carried away, but give me your guys' takeaways from this game, from the leg. What's
Yeah.
next, man?
I mean, yeah. I mean, for those listening, you just heard the Real Madrid fan talk, and I'm a Real Madrid fan too. But I'm gonna take my bias eyes off, and I mean, to be honest, I think that despite the controversial call, I think Madrid was the best team on that pitch that day. To me, I think Vinicius was great. I think there's a reason why he got man of the match because he showed out. I mean, he had Bayern's defense just all over the place, and just I think Alfonso Davies' goal. I wouldn't call it lucky because it was a great shot, but I just think it came at a time where Madrid was playing way better. And I won't lie, I was like, I think this is it. I think this is where Madrid falls. This is it, and because it just came at a really crucial point in the game. But man, we've been talking about Mbappe for the longest, but little did we know we had him on the bench the whole time. And
That's
Joselu
right.
coming on, and I mean, hey, scoring 2 goals, 2 great goals. I mean, and that's exactly I feel like what you get someone like Joselu for, to go in there and just cause pressure, you know, have someone in the box because this Real Madrid team has played without a striker for the whole season, and other than chance creating, there's really no one in the box there to just be there and be that target man. And I mean, Joselu went in, and yeah, if you look at the goals, I mean, they speak for themselves. And I mean, Neuer too. Neuer was having probably the best game of his life up until that point. So yeah, and about the controversial call that everybody's talking about with the offside, a part of me believes it was offside, but at the same time, it's you can't, like, if you're a Bayern Munich fan or an anti Madrid fan, you can't like say it was Madrid's fault because it was the ref who raised the flag and the ref who blew the whistle before the play even finished. And at that point, Madrid is like, okay, the whistle went off. Like, we're not going to play no more. And that's when Kane scored the goal. So essentially, you wouldn't know what would have happened since then. Would they have scored? Maybe, maybe not. But I think it was a big mistake by the ref. It's not Madrid's fault. It's not Bayern's fault, obviously. It's a big mistake by the ref. And that's just something that can't happen in a game like that.
Mhm.
There. Adrian, I did.
Yeah, part of me wishes that they would have actually marked like a penalty or something, given it to or given the goal to the other team because Tuchel had made just horrible substitutions. Like he took out Kane, he took out Sane, he put in Kim and Jay, who was horrible the first leg. So it's like he was just really bad decisions. And if it went into extra time, we all know that Madrid would have taken the game. So part of me wishes that it was like you mentioned, it was the referee's fault and it's something that shouldn't happen at that level with those stakes on the board. But Madrid just had the momentum on their side. And even if they had scored in extra time, we would have taken them out. So and then just like you guys mentioned, the story about Joselu, the boyhood club, then floating around to like a bunch of different clubs, coming at 33 years of age to play at his boyhood club for the first team, and then scoring a brace to pull your team out of losing the Champions League semifinals. That's like top tier writing. I don't know who they have writing these scripts in the Champions League back room, but it was amazing.
It's great, great
I
stuff.
mean that's the way it feels like, right? When Real Madrid plays, like it just because when I saw Alfonso Davies' goal, well, one, I was pissed because Carvajal was fucking nowhere to be found, and of course, he's fucking running
Yeah.
down the middle. But apart from that, like it it just. But even when they scored, there's still this sense of like this shit is not over. And I think that is kind of to your point, Jose, of like Real Madrid is made for this type of spectacle, this type of show, and one of the takeaways I get from me is that I'm happy about is that one of our own Concacaf, Alfonso Davies, got his goal in front of the Bernabeu fans to see what the fuck's about to happen next season when he comes to the team. But
Uh,
yeah, I mean, I think it just speaks to his like brilliance stuff being, even though he didn't start. Like, I mean, I think he ended up being playing left mid if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They ended up playing him in left mid, and he was just cooking up that side too when Carvajal couldn't handle it. But so I'm excited about that, and I mean, yeah, I mean, I think Jose Lu becomes kind of like a meme a little bit, because he doesn't really get to play, but I mean, good for him. I think he gets that. I don't particularly find Real Madrid that exciting this season when they're actually like playing, but I will say that like moments like this, I think do make them an exciting team to watch, and it is one of those things that does make the Champions League feel more like, I don't know. There's just like an essence of football that happens there. I don't know how else to describe it. It's so unpredictable. Uh, and I think Real Madrid has that. I mean, I think, am I gonna say that like Real Madrid plays like really beautiful? I wouldn't say that, but I think that there is some beauty in the way that they kind of get the job done. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about Real Madrid. I think also props to Ancelotti as opposed to Tuchel, right? And the subs he made, everybody was questioning why the hell's Jose Lu coming in? You know, why is I forget that. Well, he always does the Cruz and Modric sign like change,
Yeah,
and I
the
think you
change.
even see like that little change in that props to Modric too. Like you see even the change in the game when he comes on, which is
He
like
ups the tempo. Yeah.
he ups
Yeah.
the tempo. He's like he doesn't really lose the ball. Like he switches a play, and it's like a simple play, but he's just able to just kind of open up the game. And Cruz does that in his own way. But I don't know. I also just see like how brilliant these players are. At least for Modric, you really just see like the difference, you know, because Tuchel on the other hand brings in these other subs and could be argued that they kind of kill the game for them. Even though I understand, to me, I understand what he's trying to go for, which is just to defend. But I don't know. At that point, I don't know. It just felt like it was too soon. If it makes any sense.
Hmm.
So, I mean, to your point, and knowing what we know about Real Madrid in these types of games, did Tuchel make the changes too early? It's
I
like
mean,
se
yeah.
echó pa, se echó pa atrás muy because he did. He took out Kane to put in Choupo-Moting.
He took out
Uh,
he took out his best two players in both
yeah,
legs. He took out Harry Kane and Musiala,
in
and
Musiala. So he
that
took
was his mistake.
to put in a young buck in Thomas Mueller and a killer in Choupo-Moting. So like even if they did, if that offsides gets uncalled and there's a goal, there was like they had no offense to start off the extra times. So it's like I mean, and I feel like it goes on to show like the difference in coaches. Like I don't think Tuchel's a bad coach, but on the other hand, like Ancelotti, just like he knew what he had to do once they went down, and like he just threw it all out there, you know. And
It's
if
the
it
eyebrow,
works,
man. That's what it is. It's
no,
the
it's like
eyebrow.
if it works, we're praising it and we're like, yo, like that's what had to happen. And if it didn't, then it's like, well, he put in the best that he had. And but to your point, I feel like, and I was telling my brother this yesterday. I was like, after Alfonso Davies scored, I think it was like closer to the 70th minute. Like it was the first time watching a Madrid game where like I did not feel any fear that they were gonna get eliminated.
Yeah, it was hella
I
weird.
agree. I
Hella
agree.
weird, dude.
It
Hella
was
weird.
so no, you're right. Like it was so weird. It was so like in my mind, like everything was just like, yeah, like this. If anything, like that's what they needed to go and win the game. Because without that, they wouldn't have won. Like they would just been like, yeah, whatever. We'll keep looking for our moment. But maybe that's what they need. They just need to get scored on, and they're like, all right, dude, let's turn it up a notch.
What do those Spanish commentators say all the time? It's like don't score against Real Madrid first in the Bernabeu because that's when they start turning up.
Yeah,
There
But
you
That's
like
go.
in
definitely
like
what it
their
felt like.
Spanish accent, like
yeah.
it's just something about it. It's like you mentioned, like they just turn on the engines. Like they have like that belief that it's like, oh, it's just a goal. We'll get it back and then we'll get another. It's just like it's ingrained into like I think just like the club itself. It's like they have no limiting beliefs when it comes to these type of games in comparison to a team like PSG. It's like they can't get it over that hurdle because they're like, oh, we've choked it so many times. And I think that that's part of the essence that makes Real Madrid so great. They have that belief.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bellingham said that too, right? He's like, I didn't even
Yeah,
feel like.
and I was just about to say
Yeah.
that. I was about to be like, even players who just came in this season or just, starting out their mature careers, like they just believe, they know that hey, it's not over till it's over, and I mean that's just great to have. And yeah, Jude Bellingham, although he didn't have the greatest of games against Bayern Munich, I think he's still a great player. And hey, we'll see. Something I've been seeing online right now is that apparently Vinicius Junior up there for Balón de Oro. So we'll
I don't know about
see.
all that, but
Hey, it's
I think that's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah, I think so
I
too.
don't
I think
know
it's a
about all
conversation.
that.
I think it's a conversation.
well, it's like okay, that's because I feel like Mbappe still is taking the lead, or if France is still taking the lead in winning the Euros. Um, but if they don't, I think the Ballon d'Oro comes to the Bernabeu one way or
Mm,
the other.
hmm
But I do feel like to that it's like it's the Real Madrid aura. Like you're right. Like they don't play their best football. And I don't know if we can go back and say like this was the game where like Madrid played the best, like the best football. Like they're not winning by playing the best football. They're winning just by the aura
The
that
power of
represent.
friendship.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
The
yeah,
power of
the
friendship. That's what
power
it is.
because it's like
That's good.
to me, it's like the seasons that like Ronaldo left, the seasons that Varane left, that Ramos left, like everybody was like, yo, like Real Madrid just lost their best player. Real Madrid just lost their best defender. And it's like, how are they going to bounce back from this? Or like, how are they going to do it? And it's like every year there's somebody new. And it's like this year, like we are having like commentators, we're having everybody like praising Antonio Rudiger and calling him the best center back in the world right now. It's like, is he the best center back in the world? That's debatable. It's probably no, but there's just something about putting the Real Madrid shirt that makes these players just kind of like, yo, like I'm defending this crest, so I'm gonna give you my prime. Like even like I know we joke about Carvajal, but like even like with Carvajal, like he's 32 and he still feels like he's 22, like taking on these defenders and like for Astamendi, bro, like he has two left feet, but he can still go out there and like we have Nacho, like Nacho will probably lift the trophy. Like who's Nacho? But I feel like it's just the aura with Madrid, and it's always gonna be that whether you like them or whether you hate them. Like you're gonna want to see them get eliminated. You'll want to see them win. There's no in between. And
Mhm.
if they win, we'll be biased on it. And if they lose, the anti-Madridismo will come in and like make sure to let you know that they fell, which is the beauty of it. It's the beauty of
Mm.
being supporting or not supporting Madrid.
Yeah.
Mm.
But anyways, predictions for the finals. Who wins?
Real Madrid.
Yeah. I
Real
mean,
Madrid. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I don't want to I don't want to like shoot. I feel like I've been doubting Dortmund this whole fucking this whole Champions League, and I don't want to doubt them again. But I don't know. I think we keep honing in on this specialness about Real Madrid, and I don't know. I just don't know if Borussia Dortmund has that extra like aura, I guess you would say. Uh,
yeah.
but I don't know. I also wouldn't be surprised if they like pull it out of their ass though.
No. I mean, yeah. Again, I mean, I'm a Madrid fan, so I mean, I'd love for them to win. But yeah, think about it realistically. I don't want to count out Borussia Dortmund. I mean, just because I mean, if they've got in here, it's for a reason. Uh, but I just think Madrid is a better team. Madrid is the one has players that have been there, the experience, players that are about to win their hopefully win their sixth Champions League. Um, so yeah, I think Madrid pulls it off.
Adrian.
Yeah, part of me, man, part of me, I'm a Real Madrid fan, so like I obviously want to see my team win another Champions League, La Quince. But what a story would be in the last game of Royce's career, he lifts that Champions League trophy. That would be poetic to the man who's loyal to a club for 15 years. That would be really amazing. But part of me is also a hater. It's like I want him to experience the most pain possible. It's like it'd be funny. It's like you would never get a trophy. Like you stay loyal, but like it didn't pay off. So that would also be just like be really funny to see. Not funny, but like kind of like sad funny in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what I mean, but I'm super excited for this final. I think Madrid has the better squad in terms of the way their formations match up. I think that they play between the lines really well, and that's where Dortmund really struggle against teams that play within those lines in the midfield. So I think that's what's going to push Madrid over the line.
Well, you heard it
And
here.
you heard it here. We're all in Real's corner. And just I feel like just two little notes. I think Real Madrid has lost the Champions League final in Wembley, so they have not had a good history playing there. And the second one, if Borussia Dortmund were to win, UEFA would give them 20 million euros for winning. If Real Madrid wins the Champions League, Real Madrid would give Borussia Dortmund 25 million because of the Bellingham signing. So it might work out in their favor. It's an extra 5 millions if you lose the.
So it's a win-win,
So it wins.
A win-win. Yeah.
It's a win-win
the
for
social
them, man.
media says.
That's all they had to do. But anyways, moving on. Let's move on to our our game segment of the night
All
with
right.
Irving.
I agree. All right.
Explain.
Uh, so we have a fan favorite today on social media. We have icon hero or nothing. Adrian, maybe you've seen our TikToks. You know, it's a simple concept. It's just I'm gonna show you a player. You just have to say if it's an icon, if he's a hero, or if he's essentially nothing to football. And just give me a little explanation as to why you think that. And yeah, that's as
Sounds
simple
good.
as that. So the first player we got Carlos Vela. Um, yeah, is he an icon? Is he a hero or is he nothing? We go top to bottom. We can go Ariel and then my brother and then Adrian. You know, we'll switch it up.
Yeah. Ooh.
That was hard.
This is my guy right here. I gotta tell you, this is my guy. So I gotta take my bias hat off, but I think he's a nothing.
Thank
Wow.
I think
you.
he's nothing. He hasn't really
Wow.
won anything other than MLS. Like really, that when he was actually like competing in the teams. For Mexico, I think he has like a rocky relationship with Mexico. Uh, I think he had the most potential. I think out of most Mexican players, but I think what he actually achieved, I don't know if that lived up to it. So yeah, yeah. Because and again, a hero, I couldn't put him there unless he would be for the LAFC. But I don't know. To me, he's nothing.
Um, I'll agree with that. Um, he's a nothing. He could probably go down as the Mexican player that had the most potential, but never had uh, the ambition to excel at the sport that paid him money. So he'll go down as nothing for me.
Right. Adrian, what you think?
I also have to agree. I have to agree with nothing. Just like the wasted potential there. It's like it's just too big. It's like you could have been one of Mexico's all-time great, and he just had that conflict with the Mexican national team, and that's going to put him in the nothing category for me.
Wow. Well, I agree. I think to me he teeters a little bit on the hero side, but yeah, I think I agree. All right, we got our next player, Luis Suarez, icon hero or nothing. We'll go with Adrian to begin with. We'll go bottom to top.
Ooh, you
Uh,
left the best one last.
I'm a certified Suarez hater. I do not like Suarez,
Wow.
but I
Yes.
I have to give him hero status. This man has. When I think of Suarez, I think of that one play in the World Cup where he did like the mano de Dios to prevent Ghana from
Telling you.
passing by. Just like to have the guts to do that and have the belief in your team, I think that puts him in the hero status.
Okay, Luis, what you think?
That should be a villain, man. Should make some EA cards with villains on there.
Oh, that's a
the,
great idea.
the villain card.
The
The
villain card.
villains. Just being down at Anfield, like they love this man out there. Like they this was their hero when their actual hero in Fernando Torres decided to leave the club. So I think he's a hero. And in La Liga, I think he kind of gets shadowed by Messi and Neymar. But
Mhm.
if he were to get a hero card, it should be like for Liverpool and what it represented to that team during those times.
Alright, and Ariel, what you think?
Well, I know that the younger generation will say that this man's an icon. To me, this man should go down as nothing. To me, the biggest cheater that's ever been fucking in front of my face. It's funny that you say that example, Adrian, because you interpret that as like, oh, he believed in his team. I just see a fucking cheater. He stopped Ghana from fucking going through. And to me, I'm like, that shouldn't be celebrated. He's proven that he's had racial things against other black players, and I can't support that. So I'm just not in line with that. And I mean, sure. I mean, I think he's a good player, but to me, I know he's going to probably go down as an icon. I think that that's what people are going to say, and that's probably where he's going to go. But to me, nothing. Probably one of the most hated players that I've ever seen play.
Wow.
In my for me,
Glad you're a certified Suarez hater too. I found my
yeah.
people.
I mean,
Hey,
Adrian, just sorry, just I would say you're a hater. I wouldn't say certified because you still allude to the thing most
You're
people
right.
know
You're
him
right.
from.
look, I agree. I agree with your reasons, Ariel. Trust me, I do. But you said it. I think he's an icon. I'd have to put him an icon. I mean, eh, doing it at Liverpool, doing it at Barca, arguably in that time, in that span of time, arguably the best striker in the world at that time to me. And I think that's what he's going to go down as, goal scoring machine. And yes, he is overshadowed by Messi and Neymar, but think about it. In playing with those two people, he still came out as a top goal scorer in one of those seasons that he played with them. So yeah, to me, he's going to go down as an icon. I'm sorry, Eddie, but that's what I think.
You're young, man. That's why you just didn't see anything better. That's the problem. It's all good.
All right. Well, what's the next one? We got Gareth Bale. We'll go top to bottom now. So, Ariel, is he an icon? Is he a hero? Or is he a nothing?
Oh, that's I think he's an icon. I think he's yeah. I think he's an icon. I mean, if I would say that his career is pretty fucking crazy. I think for somebody that has kind of explicitly say they don't really fuck with football all like that, like for him to be this good, I think is pretty nuts. And I think he showed out. To me, what is iconic about him is that he has iconic moments. I think he produced iconic moments for Real Madrid when it mattered. Um, and even in the Clásicos, I remember that goal where he kind of sprints down the left line and he's just fucking sprinting full speed and he leaves I forget who in the dust. I forget
Bartra?
who.
Bartra?
Is it Bartra?
Yeah.
He just leaves him in the fucking dust. And I just remember watching that game and just like, fuck, this guy just because at that point, you have Ronaldo on the team, you have all these other players and they're not producing. And here he comes and he just fucking produces the little bit of magic. So to me, is an icon.
I would agree that he's an icon as well, and not just producing moments for Real Madrid, but also for Tottenham. I think the first time I heard of this guy was when he scored 3 goals at the San Siro against Inter Milan, and all of them like exactly the same. And it's like that's where like the world knew who Gareth Bale was, and ever since that, like he also produced great moments for Tottenham and scored a lot of like world class goals that I think we all remember. So he's an icon.
Yeah, I would also have to agree with Icon on a national team level as well because he has single-handedly
Mhm.
pushed
That's true
Wales
too.
into the World Cup, into the Euros. Like he has just been amazing. Most of the times when they qualified, it was from a Gareth Bale free kick. So it just talks about the quality of player he is.
Si solo le
Yeah.
gustara un poquito más el fútbol al cabrón.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Is it
definitely
all?
think that little bit of his career gets overshadowed by those final moments in Madrid and his run in LAFC, where you think he's gonna play here for a couple years, and he decides to play what, like a year and a half. Um. So, but yeah, he's a hero. He's not a hero. He's an icon. So, we got Casemiro.
That was a really good
Oh,
one considering his current form.
It's my
yeah.
guy right here.
We got the engine. What y'all think? Is he an icon? Is he a hero? Is he a nothing? Start with Adrian in this. Just
I'll put him on a spot because like I'm tied between hero and icon just because he is iconic for Real Madrid. He's had I think I'm gonna put him in icon because growing up this was like my six, so it was like between him and Busquets, and I just love the way that Casemiro plays. I like how he's just a little bit dirty in the way he plays, like the way he gets under people's skin. I think that all teams need a player like him. So for me, I'm gonna put him in icon status.
all right.
I feel like if we're keeping congruency with how we're like labeling these players, I'll keep him as an icon. Sorry, as a hero because I feel like to be an icon, you should excel in everywhere that you may play. He hasn't done that in Manchester, and I think he left to Manchester being a star. And with Brazil, I feel like he's just not done anything to change that team, and he's also unlucky that he's in a bad Brazil generation where like his position just isn't as valuable. So I think he would stay at hero at best.
I have to disagree here, boys. I think he's a nothing. This is
Ooh,
my guy. This is my guy, but I think you said it. He's arguably in one of the worst Brazil tenures that we've ever seen. I think he's also benefited from one of the best Real Madrid teams we've ever seen. And that's not to say that he's not an important player, but when I think about Brazil and the players that they've produced in history, I think Casemiro will get lost in that conversation. I don't think we're gonna remember him as one of the best that Brazil's ever produced. I think he's gonna be one of you know, of this modern time, it could be argued that he is, but I just don't think in history he's going to go down as an icon or a hero. I don't know. I think he's going to be forgotten in Real Madrid. When I think about that Real Madrid team, I don't think I'm going to think about him, because I think that Modric and Cruz are going to overshadow him as the other center mids. So I don't know. I think I sadly think he's going to be a nothing.
Yeah. Well, I think to Adrian's point, I think at the time with Madrid, even though he was surrounded by arguably two of the greatest midfielders of all time, he at one point to me was probably one of the best CDMs in the world, and I think that would just keep him at a hero for me. I agree that his play in Manchester United has not been great. He's had a good. I think it was what, like last season he had a okay season, but this season, man's is not the Casemiro we know. And yeah, for Brazil, it just hasn't happened for him. So that's why I think he's just here.
Yeah, I think his run at Manchester United has really tarnished
Yeah.
his kind of status. I feel like if he stayed with Madrid this season and had actually kind of gone through this kind of Champions League run, I think we'd be having a different conversation. But just the points that you guys brought up, I think you guys are swaying me a little bit on the icon status. So I think I'm gonna put him down at hero, just because for me, like you mentioned, he was one of the best CDMs at one point in the world. Like if Casemiro wasn't in those matches, you can certainly tell that he was missing. So I think he was an essential part of Real Madrid's run. But you know, considering his run with Brazil, I'll put him down into hero status.
So y'all really think that people are gonna remember Casemiro 20 years from now?
you see, okay, so maybe I'm just like tapping in now to like, I mean, we do this in homage to like FIFA and EAFC, but if we are bringing the young generation to remember a player like Ramirez, like why not remember a player like Casemiro? Like
Because
who's
Ramirez was
Ramirez?
better.
No,
Oh, come on, Ramirez was
no,
better. Come
Ramirez
on,
was
don't ever say. Come on, Ramirez was a
Ramirez
tank. He was a little beast in the center mid.
for one season at the highest
No,
level.
come on,
One season at the highest
come on,
level.
dude.
So yeah, like he should be there, man. Like when it comes to replacing Ramirez, he should be there. And yeah, yeah. And even so, like I feel like you may not know or remember who Casemiro is, but all the titles he's achieved will put him in that. He'll come up in statistics down
Well,
the
by
line.
that logic, Nacho's gonna be an icon. I mean, come on. By that logic, we're gonna fucking
That's a
throw
good.
Jose Lu in there, because he's gonna win a Champions League.
He could be for longevity. Um,
Nacho, come on,
Nacho, yeah.
come on, dog.
yeah,
Come on. We
which is
got
what.
Puyol. We got Puyol as an icon. We're never
Oh
gonna
no,
throw
no,
Nacho in there.
sorry. No, Nacho should be a hero. I take that back. No
I
icon.
don't even know about here.
I don't even know about hero. Dog. What are we
Yeah.
talking about?
Well, it's okay.
Hey,
No,
Like
put
no offense
Nacho
to the
on
boy.
here,
No
man.
offense to the boy Nacho. Man's playing great, but
we give.
sure.
All right, moving on.
Well, that's it for this game. We'll cut it there. Yeah, and let us know what you think about these players, whether they're icon heroes or nothing. So you heard our opinions. So
I'm
All
gonna
right,
get
man.
hated on. I already know.
I love it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm already thinking about the
We're
reel and the
waiting.
TikTok, and I'm thinking
Yeah.
about all the comments already.
The contents are you're making us juicy content
Yeah.
for the next few weeks, man.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving along to our final segment of the night. And correct me if I'm wrong, boys, but this is the first year that there is no English team in either the Champions League final, the Europa League final, or the Conference League final. Which brings up to our debate for the night, and that is the Premier League still the best in the world, considering that in the continental tournaments, they are nowhere to be seen. Take it away,
Uh,
guys.
I think it is. I still think the Premier League is the best league in the world, and although this season maybe is not showing for it, especially because I think I saw something where the Bundesliga was the best season this year, and they get five Champions League spots this year for apparently being like the best performing season or something like that. I read something about. I don't know if that's true, but they do get five Champions League spots. But I still think it's the best season. I mean, if you look at the best season, the best league, if you look at the race for the titles in Spain and France and I mean, I guess Germany, Leverkusen is playing insane, but it's just not at the level that the Premier League is at. In the Premier League, I think the competition is just greater. I mean, you have you at one point you had three teams fighting for the title in the Premier League in Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man City, and you could even throw in like teams like that's not even counting teams like Manchester United, who I think is the biggest club in England, and Arsenal. I mean Arsenal, Tottenham. So I just think the competition is greater in the Premier League. And that's not to hate on like Spain and Italy and France and Germany, but I just think the competition is better.
Adrian, Ariel, how do you guys feel?
You want to go first, Ariel?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can go. To me, I would say that I guess it really goes down to what you define as best. You know, when I think about best, I think about the most competitive, the most exciting league to watch, and maybe they have the best PR team out of all the leagues. But to me, it is the most exciting. I'm an Arsenal fan, and we're still in it, and it makes me feel like we're still in it. So to me, that is the best league. But I also think that when you think about the Premier League, and I think it has to be caveated, or it has to be, you have to put this in here. They, to me, are the one of the most overworked leagues in the world because they're so popular, because it's the best. They are overworked. They play so many games. So, in that one span where Arsenal arguably lost the league, I mean, we're talking about 3 games in a week. Nobody's really doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like in the other leagues, like they just don't have that bandwidth. So your depth, your squad depth is also challenged in the Champions League. So I can't say that they're down because they're nowhere near any of these finals. And if anything, it just makes me think about like, yeah, you're overworking these players, and like that's why you're not showing up in these European tournaments. Uh, because I don't know how a Borussia Dortmund would do in the Premier League, right? And I know like how would they do in that league? I don't know, and I think like I would argue that a lot of teams would actually put up a fight against Borussia Dortmund that are not even in the that they're not even like that are not at the top of the league or whatever. So I don't know. I do think that it's the best league, but I also think that it's the most overran league, and I think like the players I think really feel that. And maybe it's just because I'm biased because I'm an Arsenal fan and our players are always tired, but that's just me.
Yeah, so I think looking at it from the perspective of a league, so playing, like you mentioned, like so many weeks in, weeks out, because there's a difference between like these short tournaments like the Europa League, the Champions League. These are games where you play singular legs, and in this, like tactics plays a huge factor. So you have time to prepare for these games. So that plays a huge factor. But looking at it just from like a weekend, playing against the same teams week in, week out, I think the Premier League is still the best league the best league in the world. And you also have to consider, like, looking at just this league season alone, you're seeing that the top teams changed like various times. Like Aston Villa was top of the league at some point. Spurs were at the top of the league at some point. Manchester City, Arsenal are kind of expected to be at the top of the league, and you have a lot of these teams also going through reconstructions. Like, well, one of the teams I really enjoyed watching last season was Brighton, but right now they're plagued with like injuries. But watch them get like a good rotation of players. I think they can actually compete for a top four spot. So like, just to have those like mid-level teams actually be able to come out and actually compete against these top level teams, that doesn't really happen in the Liga, in the French league or the Bundesliga. So that's why I consider the Premier League the better league.
Yeah. You got me excited there for a little bit. They were about to say Everton. I was like, yeah, they have been,
I would,
but and also I think it speaks to like if you look at promotion for English teams, you look at Leicester City, you look at a team like Ipswich that's going to get promoted to the Premier League next season. It's a pretty big story because it means a lot. You're going to play in the top flight of football, and teams that get relegated in the Premier League, it's also like it's very bad for the team. You know, it builds a bad reputation. Like teams never come back to the Premier League after getting relegated. So I also think that plays a little bit into like how much it means and how the competition is in the league. Again, obviously there's bottom table teams, Everton being one of them. But even then, like you see teams like Everton like just competing against top four teams. Like it's not like it's a 7-0. In some cases it may be, but in
Come
some
on, man.
cases it
Hey,
may be.
take the Everton jersey off, dog.
In some cases it may be, but you know, there's at times the competition is great between an Everton Man City and Everton Arsenal. Look at Everton; they just beat Liverpool 2-0 2 weeks ago, and everybody counted out Everton. I mean, Everton's been playing not the greatest this season, but I mean, they just went in and did their thing in Goodison, and now Liverpool basically is essentially out of the title race. So the competition between the top and the bottom is still pretty good at times.
Yeah, I mean, I'll second that. And I do like, if by best we're saying if this is the most competitive league or the most competitive soccer our eyes get to see on a yearly basis, yeah, it's still going to be there. And it's also a league that, because they're overworked, or because these teams are like, think they have the Premier League. If you make it to Champions League, or if you make it to a continental tournament, they have that. Then they have the Community Shield, and then they have the Caribou Cup, and then they have the League Cup. I believe there's like 4 or 5 different tournaments that they're playing on a yearly basis. But that also feeds into like giving them more money, and like want like having the flexibility to spend on players and have like the best players playing in this league, and wanting just players to come and play there. So that will always kind of like outshine any other league, regardless if like a Bundesliga this year will have more spots to like in Champions League. Like it's just what the Premier League is. Like, from a bias or unbiased fan perspective, like the more Premier League you get to see, or like even when they come to the US to do like their summer tour, their preseason, like it's just more money that we're investing in the form of like seeing what this money's like paying out to be, which is competition.
Another point
Yeah.
that I want to bring up is just like the cultural impact that it's having on other countries outside of Europe. So I'll give the example of like Sun with the Spurs. The fact that like a lot of people from Korea traveled and know about the Premier League just because of Sun playing in the Premier League with the Spurs. I think that's just notable about the impact of the league in itself. It's like it's becoming a global presence, and it's like every corner you go to, it's like you ask them about a team, they're going to say teams like Man City, they'll say Man United, possibly two of the most popular teams in the world other than Real Madrid and Barcelona with their long history.
And that's also caveated too, though. That's also complex because I know that while that is true, and I think that you experience that mostly here in the U.S., where people are like, well, what do you follow? You follow football? Okay, cool. Like, who do you like? And it's like a British team. But that I feel like there's also like a negative side to that, right? So it's like, because I've seen also things like of people that go to like England and go watch the games and then they come back and they're like, yeah, I'm a soccer fan now. And then they're actually Premier League fans, but they're like, well, I'm not going to watch the MLS.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's like that negative effect of like we're actually exporting the attraction to football. So I don't know if it's better to also have that and then not realize that there's football right in our backyard, like in Oakland or in San Jose, and those crowds are not as crowded. You know what I'm saying? Like there is no sold out crowd there. There is no like, I guess, quote unquote passion there. So like, you're more passionate, at least to me. I mean, I can even speak from my own experience. I'm more passionate about Arsenal than I am about the Earthquakes. So, and I don't know how to like, how does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? Like, at least to me as an American football fan, like, how does that like impact the rise of football here? So it's also to me, there's a caveat there. Like, it is the best product, but you're from a distance, if that makes any sense. And I don't know if in England they actually see us as true fans, and I don't know, right? So I think it's also that there's that aspect of it for me.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I guess they'll see me as an exotic fan because I feel like they're not used to seeing people like us supporting their teams. But you are right in that aspect, and I feel like, well, at least like I don't know, like it's I feel like it's another open debate that we can have, like on why we aren't attracting, or like why is the U.S. market not as attracted to the local football and seeks overseas as opposed to here. Um, but
Hey, I was pretty passionate about the Earthquakes Oakland Roots game, bro. I was out there cheering. So don't think I
All of
wasn't.
you 15 fans that were at
Yeah,
the
all of our
stadium.
15 fans out there. Uh, and it's true that people will think, different when they see fans. I mean, we got to experience it firsthand when we went to the Everton game. I'm a pretty big. I'm not. I wouldn't say a big Everton fan. I'm a Everton fan. I like watching Everton, and I like the team. But I definitely
Bless
say
your
like
soul.
when people saw us, they're like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, where are you from? Like, I mean, how many people outside of Liverpool go for Everton? So especially in these times. So. But that just
Yeah.
speaks to how big of an impact the league has and how much of the football um affects the way we see the league. Essentially, like we're like, bro, like this is competition though. Like Everton, like they've gone through almost getting relegated like 3 times now, and people are still cheering them on and still hoping to see something more than that. So
But does it blind us though? I think that to me is the biggest question. It's like, does it blind us from the football that's literally right next to us? And that to me is the scary part about the Premier League. Like I think it has a potential to blind us from the football literally right next to us. You know what I'm saying? Like it's right in
mhm.
our backyard, and that's just, we don't see that as attractive as what we see across the pond. So I don't know.
yeah,
All right,
is that all we have for that?
that's it, man. I
Yeah,
think.
I feel like we'll get to. I feel like that's a debate that we must dive deep into, man. Like what the MLS, man. So we could definitely catch that one on the next episode.
Hmm.
Now you got me in it, man.
Hmm.
I mean, it doesn't have to end. I'm just
No,
throwing
no,
it
but
out there, because it's true. I saw it online, and I'm like, I think that's a valid ass point of like we're exporting our interest to football. We're exporting it out, and I mean, not to say that we have great, you know, I mean, that's not saying we don't have great players, but we just don't see our football as big as that, and I don't. A part of me also feels like an impact of that is that we do see the Premier League as the best. That's like our model, right? That's what we want to be, and I just don't know. I just don't know if that's realistic. I don't know. I don't know. But it's another conversation. We could close it out because.
Yeah, because one of my thoughts hearing you talk about this is thinking about like the Liga MX, like America Chivas, just like the history.
Uh-huh.
I think what the MLS needs is a little more controversy, like a little
Mm,
more of that like fighting, kind of like building up a story. around these teams, kind of creating these rivalries and having like homegrown talent actually come out of these teams. Because what they're doing is just bring in retired players from like from the Premier League, the La Liga, into these MLS teams. And yeah, it sells shirts, but does it create a story that you want to follow? And I think that's what the MLS is currently lacking: stories, rivalries, things that get you excited about the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I think we may have, well, we actually we've already touched base in that aspect where like this league is still way too young for
Hmm.
us to engage into those kinds of like stories and rivalries. So it's like maybe as a cross example, it's like when the Giants and the Dodgers play. You know, if the Dodgers come here, it's always like beat LA chance. So it's like that just kind of became a history, but it became a history because the games have been like they've been playing these games for like over 50 years. And it's like when we go to like the Cali Clasico at the Stanford Stadium and we see Earthquakes versus Galaxy, and they're also chanting beat LA," but the chant just doesn't hit the same because we're still such a young league that there hasn't been enough of a rivalry between these two teams. Because on one hand, Galaxy may have been dominating a lot more than the Earthquakes. Like I don't think, like at least with us, like, we haven't seen a great Earthquake season to engage into like
Since we were
like
real young, man.
yeah, since Donovan used to play at the Spartan Stadium, and it's like there's also like on the other hand, like the better teams like last year, were like Philadelphia Union was the best team, I want to say. Or actually, no, it was Columbus Crew,
No,
but at some
Columbus.
Columbus
point,
Crew.
yeah,
Yeah.
Columbus Crew, but at some point it was Philadelphia Union. Austin FC became a sensation, but these are also like still young teams with like less than 5 years of history that I feel like makes it a lot tougher for us to fully engage into their story because essentially I feel like it they may not really have a story to tell at this point other
Mm-hmm.
than our city had money, we invested, and therefore we have a team now because MLS gave us an expansion team.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I still feel like it's a young league.
Yeah.
But
All right. Well, let's close it out, man. Thank you. Thank you, Adrian, for joining us. It's a pleasure to
Thank you
have
guys for
you
having
on,
me.
man, and appreciate your insight. Smart dude, man. I appreciate your insights in on your TikToks. You
Oh
want
yeah,
to
it's
you get a
fun.
short plug, man, for your channel and for what you're trying to do.
Oh yeah, for
like,
sure. Follow me on Data Driven Soccer on all platforms. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's fun. Like if you guys ever have more of these conversations, I'd love to join in. Just like talking about football in general. So really cool. And I like your guys' content. I think it's really great. I think you guys are really underrated and you guys should definitely have more views and followers. That's just my opinion personally.
Thanks, man. We think that too, man. But hey, slow. Thanks, man. We appreciate you, man. I always I feel like I always learn something from your content. I feel like you're you know, I can see the thought that's put into it. I think you really try to break shit down, and some people fuck with it, some people don't, and you know, I appreciate the insight that you're bringing, and it's a pleasure to have you
Just
on. And
wait till the editing starts kicking in. That's like when you guys will start seeing it. But yeah, don't worry. I'm a loyal follower for you guys. I watch all your guys' videos. Like I went down a rabbit hole watching all your guys' videos. So really enjoy the content. I think you guys are really funny too. Like I love the banter you guys got.
thanks,
yeah,
man.
We
Thank you.
we,
appreciate it.
we appreciate that, man, and yeah, man, we'll definitely stay in touch with you, man.
Yeah,
For
Like,
sure.
man. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, folks that are listening, that have been
mhm.
on live with us. Make sure you follow our socials, Strictly Football 21. Go follow Adrian's socials. Remind me your social again. It's Adrian the Analyst, right? Or what is it?
Data driven football.
Data Driven Football. Apologies. Data Driven Football. Go follow him. Go support his channel. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. También, I saw that you have a YouTube channel. You know, go follow his shit on there too. And we'll continue this talk. And thank you for listening again. Till next 2 weeks, really. Uh, Adios.